Hey guys, and welcome back to The Groove. And today I am here with the Max.
Hey!
Thank you guys for doing this. This is so much fun. I'm so excited to talk to you guys finally about your music and everything. So, if you don't mind, could you please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your background?
Oh, are we gonna go in Are we gonna go in like the order?
It must start with you.
Yeah. The Max is it's an acronym for our name. So I'm Mel. So I'm like the M in the Max. Also go Birds. It's Birds Sunday.
Yes.
Um, and okay, so we all talk about our backgrounds. So
Yeah.
like my full name is Melissa Monego, and I have a solo project under that name. Divided like way back in like the 2010s. We did like Warp Tour and that whole scene. And then I got a solo record deal from that. And then I did an independent release back in 2023 for my solo project. And for that release show, we did it at City Winery, and these two sang harmonies for
Oh,
me
awesome.
at the show. And everyone was like, "Oh, your voices blend so well together." And we've known and loved each other from working here together. We're actually at the school that we teach at right now. And so we were like, we should do it for real. Like our students will get a kick out of it. And so here we are. That's
Cool.
I think that's
sticking
wonderful.
to it.
All right. I'm Ange. I'm the A of the band. I have a solo project called Zupang that has been on a hiatus since probably 2019. But I used to be a competitive choir kid. I used to be background singers for people. I got to do some fun things like sing at Carnegie Hall for like Sarah McLachlan. I got to sing for like Audra McLaughlin, not related, for like her country stuff and a couple other people. But I'm right now I just do session work. I'm a voice teacher and I do the Max.
Hey everyone, I'm Karina. I'm the K of the Max, and I'm also in a band called Valentina. We're native to the Philadelphia scene, and we've we've been all over the place in the sense of our DIY scene, and that's how we know our good friend Emily from the group.
Yay! Yeah, Valentina's been on multiple times. So, if you're an avid listener of The Groove, you definitely know Karina. But thank you guys for doing this. So, how long has the Max been a band?
I think like officially, like we were kind of working on stuff and getting stuff together behind the scenes since my solo album release show. But we really like it was officially official, and we put a single out back in December. So it hasn't even been a year.
Oh, wow.
So, your first release was Milky Way.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, how did that song kind of like solidify any plans or like what you actually wanted to do with the project moving forward?
I think we had kind of met. It's first started out as like a split. We were gonna do like a split between all of our like individual names. And then we just had so much fun with it that we just turned it into like a band name. And like we were like the Max, because it's our initials. It's just so stupid, but it works. It's like this is dumb or smart, but we're gonna go with and both. So we kind of went with it. And we're still working on this. We each brought originally two songs to the table. That's why, because it was supposed to be like a split. So like we each wrote two songs for the project. Now we have more than that, but we each wrote two songs, and Milky Way just happened to be the first one that we did. Milky Way was one of mine, and so that was the one. I'm also like producing and recording the project in my house, so that just like naturally came out first.
Yeah.
Um, so how long have you guys been playing music together outside of the Max, just like in general?
You mean like together, like us, or like apart?
Well, together and apart. Yes, if
You
you.
want to talk about
I
it?
mean, together was just my release show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our bands have no. Actually, my June
Well,
Divided's
we've
played
played,
with
yeah.
all of. We've
Yeah.
all played
We
together.
have yet to play with each other.
Yeah,
but
we
we've
gotta make that
definitely
happen.
played
June,
together.
June Divided's played with Valentina, and June Divided's played with Zupang. So like we've all like kind of like had our bands play together, and then Ange, you opened for me for the release. So Ange pulled double duty at my release show at City Winery. She was the acoustic opener, and then she hopped on stage for my set and did backgrounds.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Oh.
So we've been doing this together ish in and out for a while.
Yeah, we're all like very avid supporters of each other and all of the projects that we participate in. And that's what's really cool because, women supporting women.
Yeah.
Yes.
So did you guys all meet at the rock school, or how were you guys integrated into each other's lives?
Met them at the rock school.
Yeah,
I'm
rock
not.
school.
I'm a Delco transplant. I originally was not from Delco, which is funny because now I just moved here last year, but our Instagram bio says your three fave Delco babes.
You a
So
Delco babe now,
I'm now a
girly
Delco
girl.
babe. So we are, as far as I know, I met you guys here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Delco Club. I am also a Delco OG, but yeah, love it. So you're all part of the rock school, obviously. How has the rock school kind of pushed you and formed you into who you are to get today as a musician?
That's a good one.
I'll just start because I feel like I've got the shortest one, and you guys have
Yeah.
bigger answers. I'm the grandma of the group. I'm the old one, so I'm the Mima of the group. So they hired me here, and it's called Let There Be Rock School, not to be confused with School of Rock or any of the other ones. It's Let There Be Rock School, and they hired me. I was really the first voice teacher that they hired outside of the owner. One of the owners is the voice teacher, Melissa's the voice teacher, but I was the first voice teacher that they hired. So I've just been working here, but and they've been like so like supportive of my career and my stuff that I've been doing. But these two have even better answers.
I'll go next because I was the next in line to start working at the school like a year after Mel. So I started out as an intern.
Oh, wow.
I was in music school. I was going to Temple School of Music, Boyer, and I was there for classical voice performance, singing classical and opera, right? And I started out as an intern because we were trying to see like how does voice teaching work. I'm in the field getting a degree in that, so it's funny, when I started, I was doing cover gigs in bars and coffee shops, and I barely knew how to perform. I kind of was just kind of dead on stage. So actually working with the kids totally developed me as an artist so much more than you would think. Because shadowing under Melissa Daly, the co-owner, and like just like watching all the voice lessons and then starting to teach myself, it was really like I learned how to songwrite here. I was already songwriting, but not good, you know what I mean? I learned how to perform better just by watching the kids, by watching the acts that we would go out and see. And like once I started doing backups for people, it kind of just like my performance level kind of went up, and then I was able to kind of go out and do gigs and stuff. So
Yeah. I started off here as a student, which is really cool because like when I got here, like they were both teachers here. And like I say this all the time, like it's always such a pleasure being in a band with people that I've grown to like look up to because like I've seen both of them like perform, and it just made me want to like do that even more and like like put everything on the table and put the emotion into it. And then as the years went on, like I started kind of interning as well, so I got to sit in on some like lessons and see how like developing musicians from point A to point B like really stems. And then once I kind of became a full-time teacher, it was really cool kind of to be able to implicate that into my lessons. And like I don't know, like singing and like playing music can definitely be vulnerable, so helping teach people how to like get past the nerves and just kind of like do it is so cool because like that's something I learned from like them along the lines.
Yeah, I feel like people don't really talk. I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but like people don't really talk about vulnerability in music a lot, in how like, especially if you're like a kid going to a Let There Be Rock school and there's like an older person sitting in front of you and you're like, okay, we're gonna learn how to write a song right now. It's like kind of like therapy. Like, is there any like moment that you've had with a student or with yourself like through this that was just like very memorable that you'll like never forget, kind of in a vulnerability state?
Well, we run a songwriting camp here every summer, and Ange and I do it. And I also teach the songwriting course at Drexel for the music industry program. over there. So I see it all the time because I'm teaching it constantly. In fact, classes are about to start on Tuesday. Thoughts and prayers for me. But yeah, I think the most rewarding part of teaching songwriting is obviously seeing a breakthrough or when someone gets it and is super. I mean, I've had it go both ways. I've had people open up about like something really heavy in their past or that they're dealing with, and then I've written a song about, with a 6-year-old about what's better, chicken fingers or chicken
Oh, that song
nuggets.
was iconic,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
It's a real existential question. Chicken tenders or chicken nuggets? So, like, I mean, both, all are excellent songs if done right. So I don't know about you guys.
I do have moments in my lessons where I make grown men cry, and I know that sounds hilarious, but I think that's always like my favorite lesson is like seeing people who have just like a front to themselves and are trying to be like really really like masculine or something, and you go in about like how to express with your voice, like how to add some expression to it and like putting the emotions in and stuff like that, and explaining like the backgrounds of songs, and then just seeing people for the first time where the emotion really hits and they just start crying. Like for some reason I love those moments in my lessons.
I That's awesome. One of my favorite moments too, I think, is like when I get the chance to like I'm not like aggressively pushing my students to write, but like when I know like I have a kid that I'm like, you have a story you need to tell. I love getting that breakthrough of getting them to like start writing themselves and writing the story of whatever they need to tell at the moment. Like I'll just give an example. I have a student and she was going through a lot at one point where she was having seizures and didn't know why she was having seizures. And she came up with this concept like about how like when lightning strikes, because like that's an analogy they use for seizures. And I swear to God, it's one of the prettiest songs that I've ever heard. I'll have to show it to you guys. It's so cute. But like it later then down the line, like got her into wanting to write more, and we wrote like 2 other songs over the summer, which is really really cool. And another cool breaking moment is when you have a kid that thinks they can't sing a certain song, and then over time it gets easier, and then like maybe 2 months down the line they're like, I want to try this again, and they effortlessly are able to hit the notes, and they're like freaking out in their lessons, and I'm like, yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Do you guys ever have like moments in your lessons that you're like, I can draw from this? Kind like it's kind of crazy to think that you can learn and bring things in for yourself through like these kids that aren't very experienced, but like are there any lessons that you've learned from your students that you bring into your music now?
I really like when I'm teaching my college course. Drexel has all kinds of international students, so it's my job and it's our job as musicians to stay on top of what's going on in the music industry, not just in our bubble of
Yeah.
what we listen to, but that helps even more. Like somebody wrote a paper the other. I mean, I've always been a fan, but one of my students wrote a paper on Bad Bunny like last year. I've always been a fan, but like she explained what he did for Puerto Rican culture and like how it like brought her back to like the classic music that her parents would play. It was really phenomenal. I mean, I've always been a fan, but I was like, wow. So I love learning that kind of stuff, like especially dealing with like college kids. Like they bring a lot of cool stuff where I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think it's inspiring to see certain students go all in, where they're really, really focusing on like the outfits, like the recordings, the songwriting, just trying to network with people and going to other people's show. I just like for someone like me who I had a lot of fear just kind of getting into the business in general, it's kind of inspiring to see that we can work with these kids and that they're able to just kind of get out there and do exactly what took us years 10 times quicker than we did.
Yeah.
So I kind of love that about this job.
I was also gonna say too, like a lot of the students like it's really fun to do like music sharing because like like I'm an avid like independent music person.
Hmm.
That's why like we're always like supporting our friends and stuff like that. But like I'll be giving like some of the kids that I can tell like I'm like, you guys are DIY at heart. Like I'm like, you need to listen to these bands, and then vice versa, they'll throw bands my way and stuff like that. Which is super cool. Like, I mean, even if they're bigger bands, like I knew about Flesh Water because like one of my students was obsessed with them, or like the band Julie. Um, and then another thing too. Um, Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm sorry it left.
You're all good. It's somewhere up there. It'll come back.
It'll come back. I'll let you know when 50 minutes down the line.
You'll think of it when you're falling asleep tonight.
Yeah. And be like, oh, damn it. Or like when you're listening to it when it comes out and you're like, oh my God, I remembered. So I love the aesthetic of your band overall. I just want to say that because it's so fun, it's so whimsical, and I love it. It's so cute. But I want to know a little bit about like how you guys decided on like kind of like the tarot card, like sort of like Greta Van Fleet inspired graphics and just things like that. How did you guys come to that decision?
It was like a full like I think I'm not a designer. I'm terrible at this. This is not my thing. I think I did a bunch of logos, and Ange, you were really gung ho about the one we settled on.
Yeah.
And so we settled on that. And since we knew our first single was going to be Milky Way, was it you that did
Yes.
the art for it? And then it
Yep.
just kind of like kept going.
Thank you, Canva Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's actually insane how much you can do with Canva Pro. Like I'm not sponsored, but I will tell everyone to get Canva Pro. It's so good.
I totally get that. When I got the trial, I forgot I got the trial, and then it charged my account one night, and I was like, God darn it. And then I was just like, actually, no, I don't regret this at all. I do a
It
lot
is
with
very,
Canva Pro.
it's very expensive, but
Maybe one day I'll have Code Groove and everything will be okay. But now I feel like your music also coincides with the graphics a lot in my opinion. And is that something that you notice is kind of driving your like writing and things like that now?
Interesting. I don't know. I think it just kind of ended up coming out magical. I think also it's just the stuff we've released so far. I mean, I
yeah.
think there's always going to be a sense of whimsy in our stuff, but like we've only released two songs and a cover so far, and they're both slower songs with
Yes.
like airy, celestial kind of elements, but we do have more rock and stuff. One's coming out next week.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about that a little bit later, but
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, like, I don't think I think it's just kind of what, like, we naturally write, and then, like, part of what I naturally do as a producer. And you can hear some of that whimsy,
Yeah.
like, on my last record.
Yeah.
It's all the keys.
Yeah.
It's all the keyboard work, which is funny because I play guitar for the band, but it is all the keyboard work in there. I think it's a combination of
Yeah.
the writing and the artist that we like meets just like the production, like even the stuff that you don't. A lot of times you'll hear a guitar, but there'll be like a cool textural element in the background, and like I think it's just if you listen to my
Yeah.
last record, you can kind of hear some of it on there. Yeah.
I would even say just color wise, because a lot of our cover arts are very similar in the style. Like we wanted to keep that very similar just to show that they're all connected, but it's really cool with like adding the different like background colors, because like I feel like that also gives each song its own kind of like texture at the same time. And like even a funny or story, like how we'll get to talking about our song coming out next week, like I already knew what color I wanted to put for it, but then I asked them and they were like, oh yeah, like we should do like a darker green, and I was like, shut up, that is exactly
Yeah.
that is exactly the
Oh,
color
that
I'm
song
doing
gives
for
that
it.
color, yeah.
Yeah.
And Milky Way gives the dark blue, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Liar gives the maroon, yeah.
And it's like fun because they all have their own personalities, but they all essentially kind of sync together at the same time.
yeah, that's so
Awesome. I love that. Well, cuz I'm a design major, so I'm like I'm super into that stuff. So, like having you guys be like this song gives this color. Like I'm like, "Yes, I understand exactly what you mean." And you guys hit it on the nose every time.
Oh, thank God, because we have no idea what we're doing.
Man, do we have synesthesia and just didn't know?
I'm just gonna ask myself, WWED, what would Emily do every time we're going to make a
Yes.
song?
Whenever you text me about like an album cover and you ask me like for little tips, I get so excited. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yay." I'm being used for my major. It's good. So you guys did say that you each brought in two songs for the band. were those songs along the same like vibe of each other, or were they like kind of different? Like, did you feel like you weren't going to be able to integrate them? Was that an issue or no?
We had a playlist. We actually threw out, we did a little Spotify playlist where we all just added stuff. So we kind of knew what we were kind of thinking along the lines. And like also like a good song's a good song. And production is just kind of like the outfit it's wearing. You know what I mean? It like totally,
Yeah.
you could take a good song and dress it up as any kind of song. So I think there was a little bit of, I guess, as a producer, a little bit of like, how am I going to do this? But also, we do have very similar like tastes in a lot. We also have different tastes, but we have
Yeah.
a lot of like through lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't like too worried about it. You know who's more worried about it is our mixer. Chris is always on me about it. I'm like, just calm down. Like, calm down, Chris. Like, just let us do our thing. It's working. But that's his job. To be fair, Chris is doing his job. So, poor Chris.
He's doing his best.
Yeah.
I would agree with you though too.
Yeah.
Though I feel like we do have like similarities in that sense, but I think it's really cool to see how like there are differences in our writing style and like how like each of those styles are able to be kind of showcased throughout what we have going on this project.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Are those songs still like in the works? Will we possibly hear those songs in the future?
So Milky Way was mine, and it was the first one, and then we released one in July, which was Angie's, which was Liar. So that was the one she brought to the table. And there was there was pre-pro done on all of the songs where it's like you get in there and you look at the song structure and the you dive into the chords and the lyrics. And this is all stuff I've learned from producers that I've worked with through my earlier June Divided years. And so now we're on to the next one, which is one that we all wrote. But yes, all the ones that so there's 6 of them total. They're all on deck. In fact, I should probably tell you this now. Christian's going to get us a mix of Megan Lynn tomorrow.
Yes.
So that's Karina's. So that would be like the following one. After the one next week, the next one would be Karina's.
If you're listening to the groove, you know what the next single is. So
Yeah.
this is
Everyone be quiet, hush up. It'll come out. It'll come out. um, oh my gosh, that's so funny. So I want to know a little bit about your new song that's coming out, because this will drop probably right around the time that your single is coming out. So what was the writing process for it? If talk about as much as you want about it. I don't know what you guys are comfortable talking about, but
Well, I think if you've been following along with us, you might already know the story. We wrote this one for the WXBN 24-hour songwriting challenge this year. And we ended up as one of the winning finalists. So it was a success. And it was the first song and the only song so far that we've really, truly co-written together, which is, we should probably do it again because that won a contest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda did
You know,
okay
I
with
think
it.
we might be on the right path
Yeah.
here.
We just got together at my house, and what happens is they drop a topic at noon on Saturday, and you have to upload it to YouTube and submit it by noon on Sunday. And it was a crazy 24 hours. This one played not one but 2 shows.
Two
within-
shows in the same day.
Yeah.
and wrote
Psycho.
this song.
That's
And you have to
so
play it. You have to play it live too. It's not like you can just
Yeah.
you have to like rehearse it live. So I don't know how we did it.
I don't know either. That day's still a blur for me. Like literally, Emily, it went from I got to Mel's house around like probably like 11:45. Wrote with them. We got the whole song together probably around 2:30. I went to West Philly Porch Fest. Then went back to Mel's house afterwards.
Wait, it
during
was
the
Porch
barbecue.
Fest?
It was Porch Fest. And then I had to go to another gig that we had later that night, and then I went home and woke up early in the morning so that we could go record it real quick and submit it by 12.
It was crazy. And in the meantime, while she was out, so we like wrote the song, like the chords and the lyrics, and that was my favorite part was the lyrics because we kept pushing each other.
Yeah.
Like it was, I think, the best lyrics out of all of us because we kept raising the bar and it was super fun. But while you went to the first show, so we got the meat and potatoes of the song done. We got the lyrics, the chords, everything, the melody. Then Karina went and played one show, and Ange and I went down to my studio, and we cut the harmonies for like practice tracks. So we figured out all the harmonies. then Karina came back and we all practiced. We all went into different rooms of my house and listened because I like bounced down each track for us to listen to. So we really worked on it. I think we got like through the song once or twice very shakily after that. And then she went back out to play another show. And then you and I probably wrapped up and like went over a few things. And then we went home. Then we all went to sleep. And then we got to my house again at like early as heck.
Yeah,
And
I was
then,
gonna say before I usually wake up for that.
but we had really, I think that helped. We had really good like golden hour light, and then your lovely boyfriend helped film it, and then I like threw it into Logic just to kind of put some reverb on it. And we didn't even mic things individually. We just stuck I plugged my guitar into my interface, but then we had a room mic to catch the harmonies.
Wow.
And then we edited. I just did a quick, like, let me clean up the audio, let me edit it. Because my space isn't even acoustically treated yet, because I've been dragging my heels on it. And it's expensive. Not even acoustically treated, and we just threw it up. That was our 20, and we got it up, like, maybe within the hour of when it was due. It was a full 24-hour.
And then they sent an email, you have an extra hour because the site's crashing.
The site crashed, or so many people
Oh my
playing.
gosh.
Yeah. That's what that was like.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about it though was when we were writing it, like the song's like it's got like a nature theme to it. And when we were writing it, we were on Mel's deck in the backyard, like just like with the wind blowing. It was a beautiful, nice day, and I was like, I love trees. Like it was it was nice. But I think that totally inspired us on the song.
It did, because so the prompt was belong. And we were like, oh, God, okay, belong. And so we kind of started throwing, these metaphors out. Well, like the leaves belong to the trees, and then this belongs to this. And then this big breeze came through. And Ange was like, I think I want to say, like, they say we should go with the wind. And then I'm like, and we're trying to think of something that, like, doesn't move, like, easily with the wind. I'm like, but I am and I think the two of us were like a boulder, and I was like, that's stupid. And then my husband was playing video games inside, and he plays mandolin for us, and I'm like, Jeff, he's like, yeah. I'm like, what's something that's not easily moved by the wind? And he's like, I don't know, like a boulder. And I was like, Boulder stays. The song's the boulder.
But I'm cracking up because you were like, did you just say that because you heard us say that?
And it was like, no, my husband like can't hear for me. My husband has played in metal bands since he was a teenager. I was like, he can't hear for crap. He was like, no, you just asked what couldn't be moved by the wind. It's a boulder. I was like, I guess the boulder's a good idea. We're going with the boulder. So now, next week, we're releasing the boulder on September 26th on Friday.
Also, it was like cracking me up though too, because like when we had good ideas, we were all like, yes, girl.
You're
But
like,
like
"Yes."
if things were like, if we were like holding each other accountable, like, ooh, nah, we got to do something different there.
Especially if you're on that time crunch, like you have to lock in. Like you gotta figure it out.
Literally.
Yeah, I think like my favorite part was like it didn't. And my students at Drexel complain about this all the time. If you're listening, I know you have this complaint. In my class, you have to turn out pretty much like a blueprint of a song almost per week, and that can often feel like forced creativity. So I like went into this like I had a couple of like chord progressions in my back pocket, so I was like, okay, at least like musically I have a couple of ideas we can just throw out and start going. But I was like, I hope it doesn't feel like forced creativity. And oftentimes when I've done co-writes in the past, like I've done writes for like some TikTok stars, and it often feels like forced creativity. Like we're writing a song about dancing. I don't dance. Like, okay. Still have fun, but it's not the cathartic feeling when you're really writing about something. But I felt so authentic writing this song.
Yeah.
I really think we did a good job of finding like, and they give you a prompt too. So it's not like you can just explore whatever you're feeling.
Yeah.
But I think we had good chats about like belong and like how it each related to us. Like how this like this metaphor could authentically come through our lyrics. I think we did a good job on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I feel like, how you were saying, like, individually, we've all either, like, we're going through situations or have been through situations where we felt stuck in our place. And I feel like, I don't know, it's even, like, cool with our group. I feel like we push each other to keep moving forward, kind of like what the song is trying to tell you to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love the song. I think it's beautiful. And I was, like, super into following to see like where you guys would end up on like finalist lists and everything. It was so exciting. I would ask Karina like constantly for updates. I was like, "Where are you on the list? Where are you?" It was so awesome. It was just cool to see you guys like even like in the finalists cuz I see so many of these videos like when that stuff comes out and it's like so cool to like know the people. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I know them. That's so exciting." I think your point about forced creativity was super interesting because in the scene, I feel like people feel super forced to like have a lot of output. And I wonder, I don't know if you guys can speak on this at all, but if there has been any type of forced creativity or if people start to not feel authentic anymore about their music. Have you guys like ever experienced anything like that before with yourselves?
So like I've been doing this. I'm the oldest by a lot, and I've been doing this the longest. Um, and like even my bands, my first band, June Divided, even our records have changed so much. Like, and it does. Like of course it changes. Your taste changes as you get older. Like you get into stuff, or you find something else you enjoy and you're inspired by. So I think the most forced, I mean, when I'm not co-writing, like when I'm co-writing with someone and I have to write for the client, it's just going to be a different kind of creativity, and it often feels forced, and you just try your best to write something as authentic as you can, and as long as the client's happy, that's like a different thing. But like writing for June Divided started to feel a little forced on our second record. I actually don't hate our second record because it just didn't feel like me. It almost felt like I was writing for the scene that we kind of just got pigeonholed into. And we had Warped Tour coming up, and we had to finish this album for Warped Tour back in the day. And that one felt a little forced, which is probably why I don't like it as much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think especially when you've already established like a little audience that like expects things from you, and you're like, well, I have to not just, I'm kind of in this box of having to deliver something I want to deliver, but also like I have to satisfy, the people that have been there since day one. And then also if you end up on a record label, then you have to make sure the label likes it, and it just becomes, yeah, it's very easy to just be forced with your creativity. And then I also think some people, I mean, I also have worked with writers who just want to be an artist, but they don't really, they can't, they're not really a writer, so they can't get that catharticism going, and it comes out forced too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like even for myself too, like sometimes I get in my head about how much like I have to have a hook. I have to have something that people are gonna be gravitating towards and like and remember. And at those moments, like I legitimately make myself put the book down from writing, and I'm like, I'm gonna come back to this because if I focus too much on what the people need, then it's not gonna be real, and I'm not gonna be able to like put the emotion into the song that I want to put into it. And even to like going back to like when I'm doing like some co-writing with like some of the students I have, like I literally will tell them, I was like, let's just put like filler in for right now. Like you don't need to have the perfect story in your first or second verse right now. Like let's just put something right there so that we can keep moving on because you have an idea for what you want the rest of the song to be. And sometimes oh, going back to what you were saying earlier, like sometimes like I learn from my students in that sense of like
Mm-hmm.
being able to say, you know what, this just isn't the time for me to conquer this just yet. I can come back to it. And when the time is right, the time is right. And I will know exactly what I want to say or do in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that hardcore. Um, for me, writing is more of an emotional outlet for me. Um, so I don't tend to think about like writing for other people. I tend to think about like, oh, is there other people out there that are feeling the exact same things for me? But I think my hardest thing is sometimes it feels forced trying to fit into a genre because like we're always like, well, you want the genre to be consistent so that the same listeners come back to you all the time, but for as someone who listens to some weird music, I'm all over the place listening to every single genre. I'm listening in other countries. I don't stick to the US. Like um,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to pinpoint what the genre you want is. And,
Mm-hmm.
and also sometimes you just feel like, oh, well, I am going to be alternative and I want to stay in here. Or my whole first album, I felt the need to stick kind of in the folkier realm. And it was like I didn't necessarily want it to sound folk. I wanted it to sound like progressive. Didn't necessarily want it to sound progressive. I wanted it to sound rocky. So I feel like sometimes it's really, really, really hard to not feel forced to stick into a genre.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
like what you said in the beginning when you're like, well, I write what I'm feeling and I'm not concerned. I think that's how it starts for everyone. Like
Yeah.
you like our first EP was like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It starts that way, but then when you start getting I mean, even my first solo song was just me like I got signed off that one song.
Yeah.
So then like once more people get involved, then it starts to become like you end up kind of having to please people and then it kind of does take away from maybe
Yeah.
what you would do
Yeah.
without outside of those factors. Sometimes not though. Depends.
The genre thing's also super interesting because I have noticed that people are afraid to like deviate from the first genre that they write in their bands and things like that, but I feel like it holds people back and that might just be me. But like I my favorite bands are the bands that don't necessarily stay within their genre the whole time. Like I love Turnstile. Turnstile's awesome and they have the same feel sometimes, but they still deviate from it. Like it's not just like all hardcore. Like they can work with like Blood Orange and like other artists like that and I think that's so interesting. Can you ever see the Max possibly doing something along the lines of that or no?
I mean,
We
listen
technically already
to
know.
our next single and the one that I'm finishing tracking right now. It's not just like celestial, ethereal, magical stuff. We definitely have more like indie rock sounding stuff. Um, I mean, my band, June Divided did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I think we made a conscious decision because we were just getting bored with the scene that we were in, and I didn't. I don't think I belong there to begin with. We kind of made a conscious decision of like, I'm okay if we lose some fans because with what we're doing is going to gain new
Yep.
ones.
Yep.
So I think every band makes that decision at some point if they're going to really change. I mean, we didn't go from like we didn't do like a 180, but like
Yeah, no.
we definitely embraced more like electronic, like poppy stuff. And yeah, we made a conscious decision of like that's okay if you're not into it because we'll find like there will be
Yeah.
people who come that are. So I think
Yeah.
bands are really aware of that when they do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, I feel like the way you guys evolved was super cool. Like,
Thanks.
it makes sense. Like, it's
It
cool.
does.
Yeah.
It also just shows how the band evolves over time and like how you as a musician evolves over time because I feel like if you just stay in the same like especially with the indie rock people, I feel like they're really scared to like do other things and I'm like it's the same riff every time like deviate a little bit like I don't know.
I think like you're kind and then this is I remember something my band talked about when we were changing our sound up. It was like you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like if you can't just make the same record over and over again. If you're a true artist, that's not what you want to do. And then people will criticize you for that. But if you stray too far or try something, then you're gonna have your old OG fans criticize you for that. So you just kind of have to do what
Yeah.
makes you happiest.
I think it's like a fun thing about being like in a band or just being an artist in general, though, is like being able to push those limits, like based on what you're inspired by, but also kind of still keeping that like organic sound that you started with. Like even like with Valentina and stuff like that, like we still kind of have like that alt rock pop punk kind of thing going on, but like we definitely have some softer ones and then we have some heavier ones, and it's usually based off of like what I'm listening to that week. I'm just like, I want to do this. You know what I mean? But even too with the Max too, like when we were writing for like this current project and everything, I was listening to a shit ton of Julian Baker and I was super fucking sad. Sorry, freaking sad. You can bleep that.
You're fine. I'm not affiliated with the school anymore. We're free speech over here.
Free speech.
At least somebody is.
What's
Yeah,
that?
Emily, you know. But moral of the story, I was just saying, like, I take inspiration a lot from the artists that I listen to, and I like to evolve based off like the stuff that I like.
Mhm. Well, going off that, who is for you? Maybe you each have a different answer. Who is the main inspiration for the Max for you?
We have so many.
Yeah.
We really, I mean, the funniest thing, I think my favorite compliment was someone said to me, "You're like if Boy Genius and Waxahachie had a baby." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, yeah, like amazing." But like, I've also gotten like a ton of other ones. But the funny thing is, like, explaining our mixer, Chris, explaining the way I want him to mix our harmonies, like, normally it's like the leads here and then the harmonies are down here, but I'm like, no, bring the harmonies up. And I've referenced classic rock bands like Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles. I'm like, think about the way, or Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, like, think about
Mhm.
the way that their harmonies are more even across the board. So there we have a lot of different influences.
Yes. We keep getting the chicks a lot
We
too.
get the chicks. We get, I mean, like, not so poppy and electronic, but maybe because of like the three-part harmonies, we get like Haim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else do we have?
Maggie Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we've gotten her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like someone just said something recently and I cannot remember. Oh well.
I'm trying to think. Well, we have that playlist.
Yes.
Yeah, we do have that playlist, but yeah.
Definitely like Holly Humberstone I was talking about was
Like her folkier stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friendly Fire is such a good song.
It's so cute.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
We got a whole playlist just
We
to tell
do
you.
have a whole playlist. I don't know if Truesdale. I've gotten some Truesdale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boy Genius and all of their members individually. We get that a lot. Samia. I love Samia.
She's so cute.
Uh-huh.
She opened
Oh,
for
she's
Britney Spears.
amazing. Oh my
Dude,
gosh, love her.
I'm sad I
Cole,
missed her. She was at the
Cole
TLI.
makes me want to. Oh my gosh, that song is so sad.
Yes.
Looking through.
It's like a lot of it's just like all my random stuff now.
But like, you have some Laura Marling in here from
Yeah.
Ange. I put, if anybody knows who Georgia Gets By, I put
Yes,
Georgia
so
Gets
good.
By. So yeah, we have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What were you like mainly listening to at the moment when you wrote Milky Way first? And then I'll get into Liar and then.
Ooh, oh my God, such a good, thank you, good question. Love that. What was I listening to? I have always been, you know what I think is one of the most beautiful songs is Hallelujah by Haim.
Mm.
Like, it's so pretty, and I think that was something I was listening to a lot of like the like quieter folky like Phoebe Bridgers tracks. Like, that's what I was mainly listening to. Um, but I don't other than Hallelujah, I don't really have another like specific song. But like, that's kind of the stuff I was listening to at the time.
Yeah.
I can see that though.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
great song.
Mhm.
And then for Liar, what were you listening to, Ange? If you remember.
It was like 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote it's been in girly girl. I got so much unreleased music. You would not even believe. So at the time, I know for a fact I was definitely binge listening to Laura Marling.
Mm-hmm.
So Laura Marling is definitely the huge influence for that one. But it's funny, I was bringing up like music video ideas the one time, and I brought up this like Tegan and Sarah song, and I could hear the influence for Liar in that Tegan and Sarah song, even though they're completely unrelated lyric wise. And same thing, Mel brought up the White Stripes.
Yes.
Oh,
We're gonna be
I
friends.
can tell that we are gonna be friends. She brought that one up. I was like, oh my god, that's totally influenced because I used to hear that song on the PBS commercials all the time when I was a kid.
I always feel like Liar reminds me of We're Gonna Be Friends if everything went horribly wrong. That's yeah. That's what Liar reminds me of. I don't know. I don't think I was listening to anything specific when we produced it. I think I was just
Yeah.
messing fucking around, finding out.
I just remember being like, I want like kids' piano sounds somewhere in this song. So it was just, I remember it was just like, what do we do with this one?
And then Karina, like, I know you personally, and you're very much into a lot of rock, but then you kind of balance it out a little bit with like Phoebe Bridgers, like Boy Genius, things like that. So for you to go from Valentina being so pop punk and a little harder than the Max, like, what are you listening to kind of to get into the headspace to move into the Max away from Valentina?
Definitely during this time, like I said, it was a lot of Julian Baker. Like I would
Mhm.
be driving in my car crying because her first record, Sprained Ankle, gets me every time.
Oh.
But especially for the song that like we'll eventually have coming out called No Healing, um, there was one song off of, I'm blanking on the name of the record, but the song's called Sour Breath, and the way she ends it, I was just like, I felt all of the emotion in it, and it definitely inspired how I wanted kind of the production for No Healing to go.
Mhm.
Um, and then, you know me, I love me some Fleetwood Mac, and like I'm always in that headspace 24/7 because what would Stevie do? Um,
Exactly.
but it's been really fun though too because for me, like writing, like how kind of Ange was saying, like it's always been an emotion based thing for me. So just being
Mhm.
able to like put my emotions down for either band is awesome, but also being like able to distinguish like what's more like Valentina related versus what's more Mac related has been like really cool because like we've had this conversation before. Like you can usually instantly tell when you start writing,
You
like
know,
is it going to be this project or that project?
you know,
Mhm.
And it's kind of just like that aha moment, like the light bulb turns off and it's like
Yeah.
I'm ready to get this cooking.
That's interesting because I was gonna ask, like, for all of you, when you have multiple projects at the same time, so it's like, are you sitting down and being like, okay, I'm writing for the max today, or are you like, I'm writing for this, or is it just like kind of what you said, it just flows and that's how you figure it out?
it just comes
It just flows,
out.
Yeah.
yeah.
It just comes out. In my studio, I have like a whiteboard of 30 songs, and like they're each color coded for like which project
Mhm.
it is. Because I have three if you count my solo stuff. And yeah, for me, it's just like I'll just sit down and write, and I'll be like, oh, this. I think like sometimes like you'll have something close, especially because I've like my solo project is closer to what the Macs sound like. So sometimes I'll be like, I want this to be for the Macs, but if it's not, I'll gladly take it, or vice versa. But normally you just know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can kind of like hear the vibe in the back of your head of what the full
Hmm.
production's going to end up being like.
Mm-hmm. That's so interesting because I can't think musically, so it's like so cool to hear people talk about it. Um, we are nearing the end, but before we get to the end, I want to talk about you guys playing at the Ardmore Music Hall. How did that come about, and what did that feel like playing there for you guys?
Show.
Yeah.
People were like, it was sold out, and it was like the Macs are opening, and people were like, who?
Yeah.
We were like, I know, it's new for us too. It was so, oh man, how to tell this story. So, John Fay, do you know the name?
I think I do. Yes.
He has been like a staple in the Philly music scene for like decades. Like he's been doing it forever. He was my predecessor at Drexel, so he was my professor.
Oh wow.
He was the songwriting professor at Drexel before I took over. And we've just been like ever since I graduated, my first band June Divided got its start at Drexel. And like we always just kind of kept in touch, and we would end up on the same shows and local festivals all the
Mhm.
time. So we always kept in touch. Um, and he just kind of heard that this was happening. I had mentioned it to him in passing, and then he got us into Studio Four to do some like
It was like a live
a
session.
live
Yeah.
session for them. It was super fun. And so he kind of had already heard what it was. So he had this release show in December, this past December, and it was him. And then Jealousy Curve had like they were another old school. But in fact, June Divided played with them back in the day. They had a
Reunion, right?
they had a reunion that they weren't calling a reunion. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
it was a reunion. They had like a reunion, and then they needed an opener and decided they wanted something acoustic and chill before like the heavier stuff came. So they
Mhm.
asked us, and we were like, "Yeah, let's do it." Yeah.
That's awesome. What did it feel like playing there for you guys?
Um, this is gonna sound. It was great. Frustrating because like it's a big room and the bar is like awkwardly next to the stage, and we were just acoustic, so it was kind of like hard to focus because it was a loud room.
Mhm.
But it was still amazing. I met some who sent us that video of somebody in front of them turning to their friend going, "They're really good."
Yeah, that was my sibling. My sibling said that one. Oh my god.
So obviously it went well, but it would have been cooler if it were full band, but like we
Yeah.
were just glad that we were on the show to begin with. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. And it was really cool because we had McKenna Ramasco come with us, and so she documented the whole day pretty much for us,
Wow.
which was really chill.
Yeah.
Love her so much. Love and miss her. Well, we are nearing the end now, and this is now your platform to plug anything you have coming up in the next few months and anything you're working on behind the scenes.
Okay. On to the song. You do the song. Okay, we have to. This is when it's like planning a set list. By the way, like we have to. We're not scripted, but we do have to make sure we know who's talking about what, so we don't like step on each other. You
Yes.
know. After like we did a practice show here for our students, and we were all over the place. I was like, we need to figure out who's saying what. Okay, so that was practice. Okay, so we have our next single, the Boulder, but the fully produced studio version. It's quite different than just the acoustic guitar that we have out now for the contest. That is coming out Friday. Actually, it might be out by the time you air this. I don't know. Friday, September 26th. Please go stream it anywhere you get your music. And we're interested to hear what people think because this is definitely more of a rockin' one.
Ooh.
And we got some gigs. We are playing Lynn Villa. What, next week? The 27th.
I'll be there. Woo!
No, it's next week.
No,
You're
it's
right.
next week, yeah. So, Lynn Villa, are you going? Did you say you're
Yes,
going?
I'll be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm so worried about the
I'm so
weather.
excited. No,
What's-
it's going to be good. They said it was supposed to be good, but there's a rain date on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
But regardless, but that's for the Apple Festival. We're going on at 1. And then we have a show coming up October 16th, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And we'll be playing alongside our fellow finalists in the WXBN Songwriting Challenge, Madhavi Devi and Comfort Club.
And where
Awesome.
one more time?
It will be at the Father Club, October 16th. I'm sorry, I thought Ange got
She
it.
did, and then I just want to make sure. October Club, Fall Club, October 16th, and I think we're going on first.
I think we're first,
You're not telling
but
me?
you should stay the whole night because it's
Yeah.
going to be a killer gig, and the
Okay.
link's in our bio, and you can follow us at the Max Music on all social media platforms.
Woohoo! Thanks, guys. This was so much fun. Love you guys. I am so excited for the Boulder. And for the listeners, make sure you follow the Max on anything you can find them and stream their music anywhere you can find it. And make sure you listen to the Boulder because it's going to be awesome. And always remember to stay groovy.